Chapter 187. Oh, why? Chu Luiyue was a little surprised. Of course it's because of his face. Mu Hongyu let out a strange cry. You don't really think that His Highness Princely looks ordinary, do you? Chu Luiyue's eyes shouldn't be a problem. Chu Luiyue's eyes twitched. For a moment, she was speechless. Mu Hongyu's words were not without reason. That devilish face was indeed very deceiving. In the past, the most famous person in the academy was the Crown Prince. Objectively speaking, the Crown Prince is also considered handsome, but compared to Rong Xiao, TSK miserable. That kind of magnificent bearing was simply the difference between the clouds and mud. I heard that His Highness Prince Li's mother was deeply doted on by His Majesty. Now, the most favored concubine can't be compared to her at all. Looking at His Highness Prince Li's face, it's not difficult to understand why. Yesterday, when he appeared, countless women instantly changed sides and fell in love with him. Chu Luiyue suddenly remembered that the day before, Rong Xiao was just quietly lying in Yifeng courtyard and attracted the admiration of many women. She felt a little inexplicably stifled in her heart, but she didn't show it on her face. She calmly flipped through the book in her hand and asked in a seemingly unintentional manner, His Highness Princely is not bad, but he is sick in bed all year round. I'm afraid his body is very weak. Don't they mind? So what? Have you forgotten that he is the current 7th prince, His Highness Princely? Just this title alone is enough to make countless women rush forward dauntlessly, not to mention that he is born with such a face. I think that there are many women who are willing to take care of him. Chu Luiyue's hand paused. That's true. I heard that His Highness Prince Li will be living in the academy for a period of time. Many people have some thoughts about it. Fortunately, the place he lives is quite special. Ordinary students don't dare to rashly approach it. I remember that you live not far away. Chu Luiyue looked up at her. What are you trying to say? Mu Hongyu chuckled. It's nothing. I just feel that Prince Li seems to treat you differently. She lowered her voice, her gossipy heart burning. After Prince Li returned to the capital, he didn't appear much. But the only time he attended the Crown Prince's birthday banquet, he helped you. Isn't that strange? And I keep having the feeling that he treats you differently. Chu Luiyue's eyes flashed. He rolled up the booklet and gently tapped her forehead. So when you said you were free, you were thinking about these things? Ouch. Mu Hongyu touched her head. I'm just kidding. I think your injuries are still too light. Aren't you running out of cultivation time? Speaking of this, Mu Hongyu pouted. That's right. In order to go to Wanling Mountain, I went to Juyo Tower to cultivate many times. He kept the level 5 Xian formation diagram and gently swiped Chu Luiyue's nameplate on the black jade. Chu Luiyue clearly saw that the number on it changed from 0 to 100. Thank you, Elder Wei Yun. Chu Luiyue happily placed the nameplate back on her left chest. With these 100 hours, she shouldn't have to worry about these problems for the time being. However, Elder Wei Yun secretly shook his head. This child's thoughts and foresight are not far-sighted enough. I still have to persuade her some other day. Chu Luiyue glanced at him and knew what he was thinking, but she didn't intend to explain. If she told him now that she would come again in the future and continue to use Xian formation diagrams to exchange for cultivation time, Elder Wei Yun would probably beat her up. Mobile users, please browse for a better reading experience from Love Network. Chapter 188. What? You exchanged a 5th level Xian formation diagram for 100 hours. Upon hearing Chu Luiyue's explanation, Mu Hongyu jumped up in shock. Are you crazy? Chu Luiyue handed the nameplate over calmly. I'll lend you 40 hours first. You can return it to me later. Mu Hongyu covered her face in despair. Elder Wei Yun actually didn't reprimand you. Do you know how precious a 5th level Xian formation diagram is? If you were a warrior, it's fine if you don't need it, but you're a Xian master. That Xian formation diagram wasn't mine in the first place. I won it from Gu Mingzhu last time. Isn't it a good idea to exchange it for these 100 hours? But Gu Mingzhu has never done such a thing. Mu Hongyu looked at Chu Luiyue's indifferent expression and was so angry that she didn't know what to say. Gu Mingzhu was doted on in the Gu family back then, but she couldn't bear to do this. How could Chu Liwei not feel any heartache at all? Then what if you want to become a 5th level Xian master in the future, but don't have a Xian formation diagram to study? Oh, I still have one scroll. The demonic beasts in Wanling Mountain had all been killed. Exchanging time with the demonic beasts' cores of essence wouldn't work. As for alchemy, she didn't really want to expose this point now. After thinking about it, the Xian formation diagram was still the most suitable. Mu Hongyu could tell that Chu Liwei couldn't be persuaded at all. She took the nameplate painfully, and her hands were trembling slightly. What kind of big boss did she follow? 2 5th-level Xian formation diagrams were so insignificant in her eyes. Liu, tell me honestly, do you plan to exchange for the remaining scroll too? Chu Liwei smiled. You even guessed this? 3rd-level Xian formation diagrams can only be exchanged for 2 hours, while 4th-level ones can be exchanged for 20 hours. No matter how I think about it, 5th-level Xian formation diagrams are the most convenient. These should be able to last for a while. After I'm done, I'll just find some more Xian formation diagrams. Liu, Xian formation diagrams are not cabbages. How are you going to find them then? Oh, if I can't find it, I'll just draw one myself. Mu Hongyu cupped her fists in admiration. He's a ruthless person. She had heard that it was very difficult to inscribe Xian formation diagrams, but seeing Chu Liui's indifferent expression, as if he didn't take it seriously, Mu Hongyu didn't say anything more. The thought process of a genius was indeed different from that of an ordinary person. Chu Liwei glanced at Mu Hongyu and couldn't help but smile. This matter might seem difficult to others, but to her, it couldn't be any easier. Although she was only a level 2 mystic cultivator now, there were more than 10,000 mystic formation diagrams stored in her mind. When the time came, he could just write something down from memory and carve it out. All right, don't think too much about it. The Qin Jiao competition is coming soon. Prepare well. After saying that, Chu Liwei gave her 40 hours and left with the nameplate. When Chu Liwei returned to his residence, he realized that the usually quiet Shuangqing River had suddenly become a lot more lively. Whether it was by the river or on the bridge, there seemed to be a lot of people. This was especially true when they were all beautiful and graceful women, and their gazes were all looking in a certain direction from time to time. Chu Liwei understood and followed their gazes. Indeed, they were all looking at Yifeng Courtyard. However, he wasn't resting in the courtyard today, but this still couldn't stop the enthusiasm of the women. All of them were looking in that direction with admiration and anticipation. The corners of Chu Liui's mouth twitched, and he directly walked towards his residence. When he walked through the fragrant crowd and could finally catch his breath, only one word flashed through his mind: attracting bees and butterflies. Rongxiu was resting in Yifeng Courtyard that day. Now, it seemed like he did it on purpose. She originally thought that Rongxiu had always claimed to be sick and didn't have any real power. Even if he was good-looking, there shouldn't be many people who were interested in him. But she seemed to have guessed wrongly. Chu Liwei went up to the 2nd floor and spread out the brush, ink, paper, and inkstone. She planned to write down the antidote for the red blood goo poison first. She had seen this poison once in her previous life, but that was when she was very young. At that time, she wasn't a celestial physician yet. She was just following her master around as an assistant. She didn't look at the antidote carefully at that time. Now that such a long time had passed, she only remembered half of it. She needed to think about how to perfect this antidote. The brush was filled with ink, and a faint fragrance of ink spread out. Chu Liwei took a deep breath and smelled the fragrance. She suddenly felt much calmer. Be it the inkstone or the brush, they were both things she liked very much. She suddenly remembered that she hadn't been to the Zhanbao Pavilion for a while. She didn't know if the first master had returned to the capital. If there was time, she really wanted to meet him. Time passed by bit by bit. By the time Chu Liwei finished writing the antidote, it was already close to evening. She walked to the window and glanced at the sky. The afterglow of the setting sun dyed the horizon with a moving warm color. As if unintentionally, she turned her gaze slightly and looked at the courtyard in the distance. There was still no one in Yifeng Courtyard, but it seemed to be much quieter outside. Chu Luiyue felt a little strange. She walked to the other side and took a look. She saw that the previously bustling Shuangqing River was now almost empty. They've all left. Now, even at this young elite's gathering, it's hard to want to see him. Martial uncle has always been like this. Brother Qinghan, you know as well. Elder Yi is in close seclusion so frequently. I presume that he's going to break through again. Haha, Martial uncle never mentioned this matter. It's hard for me to say either. Actually, the young elites gathering these few years has been Brother Zhongyan, you, in charge of the Sky Foothill Academy. Elder Yi is rather free and easy, simply becoming a hands-off boss. I presume that in the future, Sun Zhongyan interrupted his words with a smile. Brother Qinghan, it's hard to say what will happen in the future. Everyone has already waited for a long time. Why don't we hurry up and start? Chenghan was taken aback for a moment before chuckling. Good. I presume that the children are also itching to start. Finishing. Only then did he walk to the Super Yin Academy's seat and sit down. Sun Zhongyan still had a smile on his face, but the depths of his eyes carried some iciness. Southwind Academy's Dean Fu Yinshan, as well as Super Yin Academy's Dean Chenghan, were actually of the same generation as him, while Yi Zhiding was one generation higher than them. Fu Yinshan was nothing much, but this Chenghan relied on his strength, continuously breaking through these few years, and became increasingly rampant. Earlier, he even dared to discuss Yi Zhiding in front of so many people, and even hinted that he, Sun Zhongyan, wanted to replace him. He clearly did not have any respect for their Sky Foothill Academy. Chu Luiyue narrowed his eyes as he watched from below. These people from Super Yin Academy seemed to be very ostentatious. Of course, last year, their academy obtained the best results. Naturally, they are very arrogant and haughty. That Chenghan is their dean, and I heard that he had already broken through to become a level 5 heavenly doctor last year, and is on the same level as our dean, so his attitude towards old Sun is naturally lacking. Xiang explained in a low voice. Chu Luiyue nodded in understanding. No wonder. Originally, Chenghan and old Sun and the others were of the same generation, but now that he had the strength to compete with old Yi, he naturally did not care about old Sun and the others. He looked amiable on the surface, but in reality, his words and actions revealed a sense of arrogance. From the looks of it, he seemed to want to have a spar with old Yi. This Chenghan is also Situ Xingqian's master. I heard that Situ Xingqian had just entered Super Yin Academy this year, but was highly regarded. Now, she is one of the top geniuses in their academy. I heard that even her senior brothers and senior sisters might not be a match for her. I'm afraid that this time, she is not here for the title of first place. The competition of the youths was not divided into different categories. Chapter 199. I'll return the same words to you. If you admit defeat now, I can let you go. Chu Luiyue lifted her chin fearlessly. The smile on Lei Mingwei's face froze. Little girl, you're still young, but you're quite bold. Don't regret it later if you show off now. Chu Luiyue did not have much patience for people who were inexplicably confident. Let's begin. Lei Mingwei frowned. He felt that the little girl in front of him was too arrogant. He heard that she was admitted to Tianlu Academy after passing all 3 assessments. It was inevitable for her to be a little arrogant. However, people with more talent were not necessarily good at it, especially martial artists, who relied on their abilities to fight. There was no room for tricks. Chu Luiyue was too complacent. All right, since that's the case, let's learn from each other. Little girl, there's a saying that goes, there's always someone better than you. Today, I'll teach you this saying. With that, Lei Mingwei spread his legs apart, bent his knees slightly, and channeled the force in his body into his fists. In the next moment, he stomped his feet and charged toward Chu Luiyue. His bowl-sized fists were sturdy and strong, bringing with them a gust of wind. They went straight for Chu Luiyue's face. Sun-splitting fist. A Stage 4 martial artist's abilities could not be underestimated. This punch was simple and direct without any tricks, but it still made people feel a chill. He was very fast, and the distance between the two of them shortened rapidly. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Chu Luiyue. That punch was about to land on Chu Luiyue's face. However, Chu Luiyue did not retreat. Instead, she stood there straight, as if she wanted to face the attack head-on. Everyone from Tai Yin Academy looked as if they were watching a good show. Seriously, Mingwei is so merciless. What if he injures or cripples the girl? This sun-splitting fist is one of his best moves. He must be too lazy to waste time and wants to win this match directly. That's true. After all, this is the first round. We have to win beautifully. That Chu Luiyue is too proud and arrogant. I'm afraid he won't be able to laugh soon. On the other hand, the atmosphere on Tianlu Academy's side was very stifling. Almost everyone's expression was grave. If Chu Luiyue lost, not only would it be a disgrace, it would also greatly reduce their morale. What happened to her? He was actually not moving at all. Could it be that he intends to fight Lei Mingwei head-on? Lei Mingwei is a rank 4 warrior. Even if she got first place in the midterm assessment, she's still no match for him. Sigh, I'm afraid it's going to be dangerous today. Chu Luiyue could already clearly feel the strong fist wind coming toward her, and the suppression from a Stage 4 warrior was even more oppressive. Her current strength was around that of a rank 3 warrior.